This video is brought to you by MoviePalette.com. Hey everyone, do you have a favorite movie that you would love to hang on your wall but you can't think of what scene or what poster to get? Well, now you can get the entire movie on one high quality canvas. With MoviePalette.com, you can get every scene from your favorite movie, or more specifically, the dominant color of every scene from your favorite movie in chronological order on a great high quality canvas. It also comes with a silver engraving of the title down at the bottom. It has rubber stoppers on the back to keep it from bouncing. And they have a huge catalog of what to choose from. Whether you're a horror fan or a fan of sci-fi, Marvel, Japanese anime, Disney animation, drama, or Oscar classics, there's a movie palette for you. Right now, MoviePalette.com is having a sale for 50% off for their Halloween sale. But if you go right now and if you enter room 15, you'll get 15% off of the movie palette of your choice. That's ROOM15 for 15% off of your movie palette. Again, this is a great value for a great piece of home decor that looks great for any film and for any film buff and anywhere in your home. You will definitely like this product. Mine is of The Shining, and I could not be happier with it. So definitely go to MoviePalette.com and enter ROOM15 for 15% off of your palette. Hey horror fans, welcome back to 1237, back with another review. As I continue my month of October run through of Stephen King film adaptations and horror anthologies. And as we come to the end of October, the final week of October just about, kind of getting into more bottom of the barrel King films. Not really digging into his TV miniseries yet. I don't know if I can do that this October or next year. But I would kind of put this towards the bottom King adaptations, although it's one I'm mixed on. It's not one that I totally hate, but as I've said before, the 90s was not a good time for King films. Most of the miniseries were not that good, considered some of the worst adaptations. Film-wise, they were made very cheap. Ones in the 80s were consistently good, considered classics. The 90s, even if they weren't TV films, they look and feel like TV films. And this one is no exception. It came out in 1996, and that is Thinner, which is based on the 1984 novel, actually penned under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman, which, for those that don't know, he wrote under the name Richard Bachman when he had sort of a non-King book that he wanted to publish, because as he became more popular, to my understanding, his publishers didn't really want him to put out certain stories because they weren't King enough. Or he didn't feel they were King enough, so he created a pseudonym so that the books would get judged on their own merit, not as a King film. However, I would say this is well, I can't say this because I haven't read the book, but this is more of like a King story than some of the other Bachman stories. Even though Rage and The Long Walk are great premises and good stories, I think mostly Bachman is not really that supernatural. Even though this one, it deals with the gypsy curse, but yeah, this came out in 1996 and is directed by Tom Holland, who, this is not his first King film. I believe his first one was the year prior, which was The Langoliers, which is one of my least favorite, or one of the worst King adaptations. That was a TV miniseries. I'm not a fan of Langoliers. When I think of Stephen King TV miniseries, Langoliers is usually what pops into my head. But Tom Holland did direct Fright Night, Child's Play, some classics. And I would say this one isn't as much a disappointment as a King film as it is a Tom Holland film. Because Tom Holland, good director. Again, I love Fright Night, one of my favorite uh, horror comedies of the 80s. Real great, more modern vampire film. The first Child's Play, probably my favorite of the series, either that or the second one. But Tom Holland, the only three things I can say about this film for positives would be, like most King films, the concept. The concept, the premise, okay, that is interesting. I see the story there. Two, the makeup effects on Robert John Burke, the fat suit, and when he's deathly skinny, which the makeup was actually done by Greg Canham, and this says it has a featurette, The Magic of Special Effects Makeup, with Academy Award-winning artist Greg Canham. No, he did not win the Oscar for this movie. He won it for Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mrs. Doubtfire, and a Benjamin Button. But I did watch it. But the effects makeup, especially for the time, decent. I will say the thin makeup looks better than the fat suit. But also maybe some of it was just the actor. The actor I kind of had an issue with because everyone is kind of over the top. And John Riley Burke he kind of sounds like Patrick Warburton, but he's doing a lot of like Johnny Depp stuff with his eyebrows. Like he's doing a lot of, there was Patrick Warburton and another actor that he really reminded me of. Just almost always exhaling, kind of the voice sounds like Patrick Warburton. He's pretty over the top. And the third positive I can give it is the pacing. I mean, it's 116 minutes, but the first half at least is very quick. It goes at a very good pace. So those are all the positives I can give it. Actually, I didn't even mention the premise. This lawyer, played by Robert John Burke, he's really overweight. He's a little over 300 pounds. You get the idea he's this hotshot lawyer for this firm. You get the idea that they really look out for each other, and there's this gypsy clan that's going through, and they just kind of talk crap about him. Maybe not so much in 96, but watching it now, if this were made today, it would have a pretty big metaphor of like white privilege, I guess. I mean, the whole thing is he gets in an accident where he kills the elderly daughter of this even elderly gypsy leader. And so the lawyer, the judge, and this, I think he was an officer, all get these curses put on them. But we follow Burke, where he's over 300 pounds, and he's just dropping the weight every day. No matter what he eats, he can't keep the weight up or stabilized until eventually if he doesn't do anything, he will fade into nothing. Or drop down into nothing, and it's him trying to stop the curse. Which, okay, cool premise. And yeah, the first half does kind of have this Tales from the Crypt kind of feel to it. And that's what I mean by cheap. I mean, this movie was made for... Let's see how much it was made for. If this thing will... $8 million. It didn't even double its budget. $15.3 million it made. It looks like a TV movie, or it feels like a TV episode. And really, the first half is him sort of dealing with this curse in every scene. It's kind of like The Fly. Nowhere near as good as The Fly, but every scene we see him in, he's dropped a certain amount of weight. So it's like, what's he going to look like in the next scene? And then the second half is him doing whatever he can with Joe Montana to get the gypsy to agree to lift the curse. And I will say that's when it slows down a bit. But so it was written by Tom Holland and Michael McDowell, uh, based on Thinner by Richard Bachman. Stars Robert John Burke, Joe Montana. It did have some familiar faces in it. Carrie Werwer, she actually looked really familiar. Okay, she was in Eight-Legged Freaks, which I haven't seen in forever. Uh, Anaconda. Hellraiser Deader. Okay. Okay, she voiced Poison Ivy in Gotham by Gaslight. Also, this might be the first appearance by Joshua Lucas, who was a character actor that I enjoy. You don't see him too much anymore. Stephen King does have his cameo in this. The daughter, Bethany Joy Lenz. I know I've seen her in other things. Okay, she was Cassie in season 8 of Dexter. Which is interesting because Daniel Licht did the score, and he's the one that did the score for Dexter. So there's that. And came out October 25th, 1996. So actually, at the time of this review, 26 years later, I did not plan this, by the way. You're going to see this on the 26th, but yeah, at the time of filming this, it's October 25th. So 26 years. Cool. And yeah, this has widely been considered one of the stinkers or forgotten one for the 90s. I don't think it's the worst. I'd put this over Night Flyer. I might put this over Graveyard Shift. I know a lot of people are going to disagree. I just like the premise of this more than Graveyard Shift. I'm just trying to think of one for the night. Definitely not Misery. And then TV movies, I put it over The Langoliers. I put it over The Shining. I do have Sleepwalkers. That's going to be the next one. That's one I haven't seen, but I enjoyed the premise. It is this Tales of the Crypty kind of revenge tale. And I know an issue that a lot of people have is the guy isn't very likable. Like, okay, he is this hotshot lawyer. You do get he kind of cheats the system. These are guys that when it comes to them, they'll try to sweep shit up under the rug. The gypsies are treated poorly. And some people complain about how and why the accident that kills the woman happens. Because at the beginning of the film, Joe Montana is this mob boss. Burke is his lawyer. He successfully gets him off some charge. So there's a celebration. I don't know if it's with him or with his firm. But he's had a little bit to drink. They're on their way home. His wife has given him some road attention, if you will. And meanwhile at the pharmacy, this elderly gypsy, his elderly daughter, Stephen King's the pharmacy proprietor. She leaves to get her coat, walks across the street. He's kind of distracted. He runs her over. That didn't bother me. Like some people say it was stupid or, for whatever reason, that didn't bother me. It's like, okay, yeah, he might be distracted. I'm sure that would cause a distraction. But it's different than in any other movie where they're just talking, everything's fine. He looks at her, she yells, "Look out," screech. So that didn't really bother me. And then it just kind of goes through the beats where at first, he notices he's losing weight. He's very happy with it. Then he notices, oh, this is getting kind of out of hand. No matter what I do, I'm dropping weight. Also, the judge, there's something messed up with him, and he said that the gypsy said something to him. Because the gypsy comes up to him, touches his cheek, and says, "Thinner." And so now he knows the gypsy also said something to the judge. Also, the officer that also gets cursed, he's played by he's the chief, Daniel von Bargen, who is probably most well known as Spangler in Malcolm in the Middle. At least that's what I think of. And so the first, then he kind of starts going crazy. He knows that this thing is like a race to try to keep the weight up or just let this thing completely bait him away. He starts taking it out on his family. It's implied. It doesn't really come out and say. I think it's just more. Think of like a Raging Bull. Like, it's just his kind of paranoia or his jealousy suspects, and it does look kind of suspicious that his doctor and his wife are having an affair. It never comes right out and says that he's right, but they try to get him committed to this clinic. He leaves, and about halfway through, it's kind of this back and forth war. He enlists the help of Joe Mantegna, who will pull out all the stops to help him to kind of wage a war against these gypsies to get the leader to lift the curse. And a lot of the acting is over the top. There's nothing super flashy or interesting about the filmmaking. Again, it looks and feels like a TV movie. So much so that I don't really remember that much language. The road attention is really the only sexuality, and it's not even graphic at that. It's not a bloody or gory flick at all. I mean, you get, when he runs over the gypsy, there's some blood on her face and on the windshield, and then there's the very, very end with the pie that reverses everything. But it even looks and kind of feels cheap enough to be a TV movie, and the acting is an issue. I mean, I would say Joe Mantegna did fine. I liked him and his character. I can see why people think Burke and everyone else is pretty much unlikable, and it's hard to root for anyone. I don't know what the Chiefs' curse was, but he kind of looks like he's getting boils, like his fingers are fusing together. The judge, because we know that his word was lizard, so his skin gets all scaly. It almost looks CGI, to be honest. You don't really get too good of a look at him, but he starts flaking away. But I thought that was a cool effect. And the fat suit wasn't quite as convincing as when he's skin and bone. And the first half greatly paced, but then the second half, when it's like the war against the gypsies, it does kind of slow down. And they keep calling him a white man from town, and it does have this underlying theme of, I don't really want to say white privilege, but the way the judicial system works for those who are privileged, I guess, versus minorities. But I thought it handled it well. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't like 2019 Candyman or anything like that. It actually served the plot a bit. It really is just the quality of the film that just kind of puts it lower for me. I would say if it had a bigger budget, but I've seen more come from less, to be honest. And unfortunately, I do like the premise. I do like the idea that this guy who loves to eat, at first he thinks he's hit the jackpot. He's dropping pounds. He can still eat whenever he wants, but he knows that this thing is killing him fast. And then you have like the subplot of him believing his wife and his doctor are having an affair. And then the resolution at the end, it does have a downbeat ending, which, spoilers. Throughout everything he does with Joe Montana, you know, eventually leading to like a firefight with, firearms. He he finally does get the gypsy chief or whatever to tell him how to lift the curse, which is he has this pie. I think it's with the same curse or it's just poison. I believe it's the same a thinner curse. Um, okay, so the guy mixes his blood into a strawberry pie. If someone else eats the pie, the curse will kill them quickly, and Billy will be spared. Okay, so that's when he goes home. He gives it to his wife as you know his revenge for the affair. And cool effects when he wakes up the next morning and takes the blanket off her, and she's all rotted. And there are scenes where, as I said earlier, where he's doing like a lot of Johnny Depp kind of eyebrow. Like, well, that I am wasting away. Where he's like right up, he's almost doing like a Jim Carrey Grinch, like I, especially towards the end, when he like licks her lips, he's like strawberry, can't eat it, diet food. So he's doing a lot of over the top facial acting as well. The gut punch, his daughter had some as well. So he's just as he's about to eat some, the doctor shows up, and it's left ambiguous as to whether he eats it with the doctor or he just kills the doctor with it. But it is depressing that his daughter ate it, the one person he did care about. So it does have a downbeat ending, and if he does or did eat the pie, then the whole movie was for nothing. So I get that complaint people have. I don't know. To me, it's just kind of run of the mill '90s Stephen King films. I mean, I would say the last great one. Well, '90s you had Misery, you had Shawshank Redemption, but as far as horror goes, beyond Misery, this is kind of par for the course. I mean, it's not really any better or worse than what else came out around the time. Well, it certainly is better than most of the TV films, but it feels like a TV film. You could easily put some fade to blacks all throughout it, and it would feel just even more like a TV movie. I remember seeing this as a kid. This was one of the earlier ones I saw when I first got into King. This was one that I rented on VHS when I was a kid. Saw it again as a young adult. Didn't really care for it. Now watching it again, I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, but it's certainly not good. I mean, it's definitely one I'm kind of in the middle of the road of, but I do really like the premise and the concept. The pacing is very well done, at least the first half, and I can say the makeup was serviceable. The fat suit, I guess it depends on what the actor's doing as well. You can tell it is kind of restrictive, but the thin makeup was fairly convincing. I do like the makeup on the other characters as well, like the chief and the judge with his scaly curse. But yeah, not a whole lot to say about Thinner, but it's definitely not one of the cult classics of the '90s. but it's also not nearly like bottom of the barrel 90s king like say Lawnmower Man or Night Flyer or something like that. So yeah, just kind of there. I would put this in the same categories like Graveyard Shift, where maybe it's a cult film or maybe it's completely forgotten. So 1996 is thinner. So the next review will be Sleepwalkers, which is actually going to be a first time viewing. I do want to try to get to a couple more King films and a couple more anthologies before November comes. If not, I'll save them for next year. I do still kind of want to do ranking videos of best and worst movies and adaptations. We'll see where we are when November comes, because I do have another marathon planned for that month. So, got about a week left, so yeah, I think I can get it in there. But stay tuned for all those, and thank you for watching.